So now we've got Rob B. Rock. They're tearing down racist monuments again, but it's around your way this time. What's going on?
Well,
Blame Canada.
last right. Um, I last week I had done a story about the 250 children's bodies that were discovered at the site of a Kamloops residential school, and as a result of this, it's a different climate in Canada. It's definitely a more woke conversation that's happening. So the statue of Egerton Ryerson, who was the founder of the residential schools, has been vandalized. It was painted with red paint and everything just to symbolize what had happened. But the city of Kingston, Ontario, has a statue of John A. MacDonald, who is Canada's first prime minister. Um, but the Kingston City Council, due to John A. MacDonald's role as an architect of Canada's residential school systems, he's the one that enacted it, who put it into law. Um,
Quickly, can you describe what the residential school system is?
the residential schools were a program that was a program that was federally sanctioned but run by religious institutions. And what they did is they took the indigenous population and they were trying to provide them with a more Eurocentric education. It was an assimilate. It was a program to assimilate the culture into Eurocentric values and education. So, and really, it did so much damage to the indigenous peoples that we really need to correct these things.
Mhm.
So, the city of Kingston, the city council voted to remove John A. MacDonald statue from City Park, which is just a public park, a large public park in the area, and relocate it to the Cataraqui Cemetery, where he's buried in the city.
Hmm.
So the event did attract a variety of spectators and protesters. There were indigenous groups that gathered to form a drum circle in the park. There was also a small group holding Canadian flags and playing bagpipes that briefly blocked the work. But after a brief conversation with the police services that were there, they broke it up and there was no violence that took place during this entire event. Some residents feel betrayed by the city councils uh, by their decision to relocate the statue. But Councillor Greg Rivard, who brought forward the motion, was quoted as saying, "A statue is not removed; it's not history. By removing Sir John A, it's not removing any history. A statue is symbolic of something, and I don't think that right now that the statue is symbolic of the right things." So City Park was meant to be enjoyed by all residents, and I mean, I can appreciate that it might be hard to enjoy family time at the park if you or a family member is a residential school survivor. So I personally applaud the City Council of Kingston, Ontario, and I want to get your thoughts and opinions. Did the City Council of Kingston get this one right?
Johnny?
I think so. I definitely think they read the room on this one because it's like you mentioned, I think they said that it doesn't take away the history, but this symbol doesn't it's not representative of anything good at this time. Like it's not doing anything for us. And it's actually hurting us. So let's take it away. I thought it was kind of like weird that people are you said that there were people there protesting, like I guess they were traditional Canadians. I don't know, you said bagpipes or something, like
No.
they were yeah, protesting to keep the
Mhm.
statue there. I thought that was weird because it's kind of like, but why? Like, let's progress. You know what I mean? Let's move forward. Especially given knowing the history, if you're there. But um, Canada's turning into like a little America a little bit, like with all of these random like.
I know Rob would take offense to
Oh shit, not be. Oh shit.
Giving that the middle
But
finger, huh, Rob?
I think they did a good job in taking the statue or moving it to his gravesite.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. The decision to take it down. I mean, it's similar to what's happening in the U.S., when we have all these racist Confederate soldiers who propagated racism and decided that they were probably a lot of the people that killed a lot of slaves, and it's just you know, it's time to move on past those histories. We recognize what they are, who these people are, and they're not people who need to be celebrated. So I
Right.
say I like Jeanette Brown's comment. Put it in a museum. I don't even like the fact that they're leaving it over his gravesite because that's basically
Yeah.
the residents paid
Like,
for a memorial over his gravesite. So I say put it in a museum um, somewhere and just
with,
close it off, and then make sure we give him his footnote in history of this horribleness that he did. What do you think, Lizzie?
that's true.
I agree. Public statues mean public celebration, and these people should not be celebrated. There's a difference between celebration and fact. If you put it in a museum where it belongs, it's not celebration. You are alerting the public of factual events, something that happens. If you put it in the public, you're celebrating these people. You're like, oh, yay, you know, and that's not what we should be doing. And if the public decides that this should not be celebratory, then there you go. Like, we're not saying that there isn't a place for this. It's just that a lot of these supporters don't think that a museum or something else is the right place. Listen, if you want to celebrate this person, you buy some property and you put it on private land. There you go. Do your But since these are public, this is a public space, this is something that taxpayers are putting money into, then no. If the public says no mas, then no mas. Get rid of it and
Mhm.
put it where it belongs.
And I want to see
Yep.
instead of like celebrating them, I want them to be noted for their horrible things that they've done in history. I want those things to be noted and cleared.
You're absolutely right, Neil, because on these statues, those horrible things are not noted.
Right. And so
Mhm.
you see,
It's that this was the greatest person. He did no, he was a racist. He was a KKK member. He was lynching people. He was a serial killer. He was a rapist. Like, there are all of these things that aren't included in the public statue. Whereas if it were a museum, the
Yeah.
National Museum is gonna include the truth
mm-hmm.
from the
Yep.
Mhm.
beginning to the end.
All right, Robbie. Final thoughts when you.
Yeah, it's like these national monuments should have an asterisk, right? Okay, here's the Washington Monument. It's this amazing thing. Asterisk. George Washington owned slaves. Oh, shiza.
Yeah.
But it's to teach the real history, right? Because I recognize the importance of John A. MacDonald in Canada's history because he was our first prime minister. Well, okay, that's a big deal. Did he do certain things right? Sure, he moved Canada towards the next step. Were there a lot of things that were wrong with that? Well, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, North America is the last conquered land, if you will, and there's still a lot of atrocities that need to be ironed out. There's a lot of history that needs to be unearthed, and we just need to keep talking about it, moving the conversation in the right direction. So I applaud, again, the City Council of the City of Kingston for reading the room and doing the right thing.
All right, real quick on these comments online. Jeanette Brown says devastating, horrifying, connected to alcoholism that is rampant on reservations. Yes, put in the museum. Jacqueline Robinson, you will never find memorials on of Nazis in Germany. And
Right.
Mike Winter
Because
says there are
it's not
zero.
allowed.
Yep.
It's not allowed. Like, Germany has done an excellent job
A lot.
of
Yeah. And hearing that.
all Nazi paraphernalia, all Nazi nationalism, all of that stuff.
All right.
We're the
Yep.
ones here who still kind of celebrate and applaud
Yep.
slavery.
All right.
North America.
Is this truth, lies, or shenanigans?
Truth and shenanigans.
True.
It's truth. I'm all about truth.
True.
Truth and shenanigans.
I'm all about truth. This truth needs to go.
Truth, but the action, shenanigans.
All right. All right, great topics, guys. Enjoyed it. And now it's time for Shenanigans, the game show. We got to lighten this up. We're going to do something a little different.